Every bad experience I've had, the overdoses or the car wreck or the divorce, people not hiring me back, I don't even know how I'm going to get out of this hole that I'm in. I don't know how I can get out of bed. I had lost so many people, I thought they would never come back, and some don't, and most of them do, and it's like, fuck, I don't even deserve this life. Do I? I probably do. I do deserve it. But now I'm like, I can't even imagine like that life. It's like another universe away from now. People love a comeback story, right?
Right, yes.
And it's like, there's nothing cooler than like being a total disgrace fuck up and then re-emerging as like, using that as like to help others. I mean, it's cool. And if I wasn't an alcoholic, I would have never found this program that teaches me this way of life. And because of the lifestyle I chose to live, you know, drugs and alcohol and partying and photography, I am now get to be a sober photographer that is obsessed with recovery. And getting into photography was an accident. He pushed a button and it, like, the light came on this piece of paper. He agitated the tray and this fucking image popped up. I was like, what the fuck? I hadn't even taken a picture yet. And I was like, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. Anybody that's getting into any field, whether it's photography or any other field, I think, you know, be kind, be nice to yourself, learn your craft. Don't be too hard on yourself when you don't fucking succeed like instantly, because if you make it, which you probably won't, it's gonna take you 10 fucking years. You're never gonna be in your 20s again. It only happens once. Enjoy that shit. Learn in your 20s. Like, let it soak it all in. Lay low, kind of under the radar, and then you're fucking, you know,
hit it like a
30.
Hi guys, welcome back to Hidden Record. I have a wonderful guest that I've had for the longest time on the list because, as you all know, if you're down in Fort Walton, you already know who he is. He's done a lot of amazing stuff, but he has gone through a lot of challenges in his life to a point where it's almost like it's a legend by itself. And we have to give a lot of respect for that, because not people like us in our generation nowadays don't get the opportunity. We don't get to experience that as much. And so it's a really great thing to have him here to share a part of that. But most of all, we're going to talk about a cute little thing called turtles. Because I just found that in the research. I am such a nerd about that when I read it. But we're going to get into that. As you can see, I'm already losing my control of my excitement. Are you going to be okay, Sean?
Yeah.
You're going to be good? Okay.
I'm keeping it.
Okay. Yes.
Actually, I was we went walking this morning.
Yeah.
And I was telling my wife all the names of the turtles at Ferry Park, because a lot of people will let their turtles go when they have them as pets, and they'll grip big, and so they'll just let them go. So there's a lot of varieties of turtles that are there that shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool that I can go down and see all these cool species that aren't from.
Wait, is it part of like a program? They
no,
grow,
it's just called, the program is like, I bought a turtle when it was a baby. It got big, and I was like, fuck. And I just threw it in a lake and let it go.
You threw it in a lake? Why don't you keep... Dude, you got to keep
that's what people do. And so around here, there's all these lakes with like tons of turtles, because people get them as babies and then they let them go.
I didn't know you could do that.
You can't. They just do it.
When I think about the turtles, they're almost classified like exotic animals. You know, there's this thing where specific exotic animals you can technically keep here at home. I didn't know I'm not as familiar with taking care of the wildlife, especially taking in one. I don't even know if turtles are classified as exotic animals that cannot be kept for your own.
Some species. Like I have a permit to have alligator snapping turtles.
Whoa.
By the state.
Okay.
Through an educational program. But they're illegal to have, but I'm allowed to have them because I have a permit. So
I don't even know how the process looks like just to get.
It's hard.
Oh,
I just know people that I went to school with as a child that now work for the state that can get them for me. So.
Whoa. Okay. All right.
It's who you know, man.
It's who you know.
That's one of the great things about living in a small town, you know.
It's who you know. You know, there's this corny saying, it's not about what you know, it's who you know.
That is true.
If you want to get exotic animals, figure out who you know. Anyways,
I know a guy.
he knows a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy. Is it that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, this has been a chaotic intro, but I would love to have you just say your name, what you do, and yes, I'm going to give you the mic, Sean.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. I'm Sean Murphy, and I am a photographer through and through. I do many things, but that's what I am for 30 years.
Yes.
And that's what I do. But I love many things. My first love is animals,
Yes.
and specifically reptiles.
Mm.
And yeah, I would say many things, and art and music and fashion and yeah. So I love a lot of things, surfing and outdoors and fishing and all the things. But me I think photography it encompasses me as a human. Like I hope that if people think of me, they think of photography. I mean, I do it every day.
Yeah.
I love it. I live it. I'm still obsessed with it as much as I was 30 years ago. Yeah, that's kind of it, you know.
Guys, there's a lot. Dude,
There's a lot of layers, you know, and because of the lifestyle I chose to live for much of my life, which was, you know, drugs and alcohol and partying and photography, I am now get to be a sober photographer that is obsessed with recovery and that life too. So that's kind of like where it's evolved. But
you also forgot one more title, which is you're also a father that has. Did we see a ghost? All right, Casper just made it. And
that is
yes,
that's Tracy. Yay! Tracy's giving us hot water.
yes. Apparently, we're out of water, but that's okay. But I wanted to say that you're forgetting one more title, which is a father, because in so many ways, having that earning it's not a title that most people should take lightly. It is a lot of work, and to be someone that has gone through a lot of stuff like that. Having a father would change a lot of things in your life, especially where you need to reprioritize, and also what you need to fix on yourself in order to provide a much better future for your kids. And that's a title that requires a lot of hard work, and especially thinking beyond the selfish needs that you have for yourself before you even had kids. So that's a title that I want you to make sure you add on to it, because that is something to also be proud of too, regardless of everything that has transpired in your life. I just had to say that.
Yeah, being a dad is one of the coolest things, and you know, one of my sons lives here in Florida with me. Yeah. Two of them live in Los Angeles, and they all have amazing career. You know, they're coming into their own. You know? One of them is a model. The other one is a DJ that's growing very fast, and he does like underground EDM. And the other one, Trip, is my mini-me. He lives here. He's into fitness and fishing and the outdoor world, and I'm super proud of them. And, you know, I was talking with somebody yesterday about when I was a young parent, and their mom, Laura, lives on the island, and we're very close, and she's an amazing mom, and she lives just a mile away.
Yeah.
And we co-parent very well, I think. But when we were young, you know, we had 3 kids in like just over a year, unexpectedly, believe it or not, you know, and we were just like 30 years old, and I hadn't yet started making any money, and she was a dental assistant, and I was just beginning my career. I'd been doing it, but I wasn't making any money. I was just, you know, starting. And so, you know, having 3 kids and being broke in Los Angeles was challenging. And I was telling some mom the other day, you know, I remember my wife going to work, and I had this old car. I think it was a Volkswagen Squareback.
Okay.
I bought it for like $100.
Okay.
And I cut the roof off.
Whoa.
And it was just a pile of shit. And you would never drive this car, but I drove it because I had to. And I was in Los Angeles, and I would put the 3 kids I would go to meetings to try to get like an album cover or something, and my agent would go, "Oh, you got to go to Warner Brothers. It's on the west side of Los Angeles, which is like an hour away, and traffic." And so my kids to keep them from, I had to take the kids to the meeting. I couldn't go to the meeting. I didn't have any help, so I would put them in the car and then I would kind of strap them in, and then I had a little water bottle that I would bring that would mist cold water.
Yeah.
And as I'm driving through LA traffic in the summer heat, it's hot, and they're falling asleep, I would just turn around and spray the mist them with the water bottle and keep them awake. And then when I would go to the conference room for my meeting, I would put them in the corner of the conference room and cover them with like a blanket, and they would go to sleep. And then I would be doing my meeting, and then usually during the meeting, one of the kids would kick its legs in the air, and someone would go, "What's that?" And I would go, "Oh, those are my 3 kids."
Yeah.
And then I would show them my kids, and they would be very surprised. But generally, they would give me work because
Oh
of
my
it.
God.
But I mean, back it was such. I can't even imagine doing that again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And being a young dad and struggling in Los Angeles. In retrospect, I don't know how we did it, and I don't know how I got my career started.
Yeah.
Because it's, this is a hard business.
It is.
And like living in Los Angeles as a kid, like I was 26 when I moved there, and then having 3 kids of my own and having no steady job, and like the jobs I was doing back then were at best shooting free jobs for Alternative Press magazine, or maybe the odd Rolling Stone gig, or music fashion magazines.
Yeah.
And they don't pay very well. $300 or free, is kind of the going rate.
And you also waited tables too.
I waited tables. That was kind of my main source of income was waiting tables until I was about 30, or like catering gigs, or PAing on a movie set, anything I could get really. But it was tough, man. And so it was kind of a blackout. I don't really remember that whole process. It was just, and I think back in the beginning days, I wasn't like, I don't remember the whole chain of events with like addiction and alcoholism. I don't think it was really crazy at that time. In the beginning days, it was kind of like on the weekend, partying or whatever. And later in life, it evolved into this kind of daily thing, which we can maybe talk about later if you want to. But it was extremely challenging, and my kids were put through. I mean, I was a great dad. I think I'm a great dad. I think my kids were unfortunately put into. They've had some rough patches because because of me, because at certain points in time, my addiction, their mom and I getting a divorce when they were young kids at 6 and 7, that was tough on them, and that was all me, my doing, and I have to, and then where I lived when their mom and I got split up, I lived in this crazy storefront called the Compound that was this old cement factory storefront in Canoga Park, which is super sketchy. And you're not supposed to live in there. There was the bathroom, we turned it into like a kitchen.
With a toilet?
The toilet. One of my kids, like I found a secret room through this wall, and I made like a room, and then I made triple bunk beds. It was like the basement in Silence of the Lambs. It was like it was like a dungeon, and we lived there for 10 years. Dang. And in a rough neighborhood where, there's a lot of gang activity, a lot of gang kids. We were the only people in the neighborhood that weren't Hispanic. So, and there's a lot of gang kids. So my kids had to kind of be cognizant of like when they're out going to the store to get candy or something, they had to put their money in their sock and be chill and don't, you know what I mean? It was like,
you had a couch on top of the rooftop.
You did your homework.
Dude, come on. Yeah. And there was a couch. I was like, what?
So when we first moved in, there was a knock at the door. I used to edit late at night with my assistant. We were editing until like 3 a.m. one night, and then we get this knock at the door. Like, who the fuck is that? And I had put frosted on the glass so you couldn't see in. It was like a storefront, and I see this shape outside. I was like, who's that? I opened the door.
Yeah.
There's this like older Hispanic dude with like a handlebar mustache, like typical like what you would think
Wait,
of
like Danny Trejo?
like a cholo.
Like
So-
a Machete guy, the Danny
he looked like Danny Trejo.
Yeah,
but it wasn't Danny Trejo, but that vibe.
That, yeah.
And he's like, hey man, and he had a pizza. And he's like, hey man, the neighborhood wants to know what the fuck you guys are doing here. And I was like, what do you, and my assistant was in his at his computer, and he dresses like a cop. He wears, his name's Jeremy Danger, and he wears a black tie and a white shirt and black glasses, and he just looks like an FBI agent.
Yeah.
So they thought we were cops.
Oh my gosh.
And he's like, the neighborhood thinks you guys are cops. I was like, no, man, we're photographers, and we're just editing. We were probably up partying that night and editing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was, and then he goes, and then the FedEx guy came the following week, and he's like, how much is the neighborhood taxing you to be here? I was like, what the fuck does that mean? You know what I mean? I'm like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And he's like, didn't really elaborate. And I was like, nothing. And he went away, and then I saw the cops outside, and they're like, hey man, just so you know, this neighborhood is, just keep your eyes out. You won't see anybody at night, but they're patrolling the neighborhood on bicycles and on the roofs, because they do, they conduct whatever activities are going on. They have a lot of lookout people, that will, if you see you could sit on the roof and see a cop coming from every
It's like
area.
it's like the Wire. They show the Wire, and there's like, hey, 5-0, and then they would start.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it was very quiet at night,
Yeah.
and you'd only see bicycles riding around, and you couldn't see anybody. But occasionally a car would come in, and anyway, they had it on lockdown. They're called the Alabama Street Gang. You can Google it. It's like a big one.
Okay.
And my neighborhood is like a square section of apartments and mechanics and different things like that. And so the cops are like, you won't see anybody, but they're on and so I was like, that's okay, got it, copy that. And then like some time went by, and we'd be in bed, and I'd hear like people on the things on the roof. I was like, what the fuck is that? And in the morning, I would go up, climb on the roof, and I would see like cigarette butts and just shit on the roof. Like I could tell somebody was up there, and I go, it's the gang, it's the kids are up there. Like, this is the lookout spot.
Yeah.
So I went to the flea market and bought a couch, like for $10 or some shit, a big couch, and a couple chairs, and I threw it up on the roof. We carried it on the roof and put it up there.
Yeah.
And nobody ever said shit, but they were using it. And there was an unspoken word, like they knew that I put it up there for them, and we were cool without saying it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then another thing that happened, there was a mechanic down the street that I became friends with, and he was up to all kind of shit. He was from Honduras or somewhere.
Yeah.
And we became friends. He spoke a little bit of English, and I would bring him my cars to fix, and if I would use the neighborhood people to fix my cars or do my tires or whatever needed to be done. We all just kind of, try to use everybody locally so we could meet them. And one day it was like 5 o'clock at night, rush hour in the neighborhood, and there was people driving all around. And so I was like, took an alley in my car to miss a street light, just to take a back way. And I see this car in front of me from his shop. It's kind of beat up. It looks like one of his customers or something.
Yeah.
And like maybe he was moving the car or whatever. And on the back of the car, I see this giant white ball in some plastic.
Oh no.
And I was like, holy shit, that's like, looked like a kilo of Coke or half a kilo or something, a big amount.
Yeah.
And I'm honking my horn, and the guy looks out the window. It was one of the guys that worked for him. And he's like, what the fuck, And he got out of the car, and I just went like this. And he looked at it and just was like that and looked at me and went in his car and took off.
Yeah.
Nobody ever talked about it.
So there's
But ever since then, like my kids are taken care of. People watch my shit. Nobody messed with me. Everybody was super nice to me. It was known that they're cool and they're watching out for the neighborhood. So that was where my kids grew up after the divorce.
No, what I found interesting based on that story is like you've done so much to keep or protect the peace for your children, but for you on the other end as a parent, there wasn't always that sense of stability when it comes to peace. And I found it very interesting that you work so hard to provide that for your kids as much as possible, despite interesting characters that have come across into your life. And I think that one is not a lot of parents would ever make an effort to do that, especially when they're involved in the addiction and the drug use and all of that. And I just have to acknowledge that for you, the fact that you created the atmosphere of some peace for them.
Yeah, I don't know though, because I don't. In retrospect, I think maybe it was a dangerous play. I think as a parent, I thought it was cool and edgy and like interesting to be there, and it definitely fit my lifestyle.
Yeah.
And my kids adapted to it, and I think they liked it to a degree. And then their mom lived in a normal neighborhood, and so they could kind of have a little of each. But if I had to do it again, I don't think I would. It was a weird time because I went to rehab, and I came out of rehab, and I had a studio next to this building, and the guys that owned the building that I ended up moving into asked me if I wanted to rent it. It was just a weird, like, it just happened.
Yes.
Their mom, Laura, if I was the mom, I'd probably be like, my kids aren't going to that place.
Yes.
She loves me. She's cool. And she felt, I feel like she's the barometer for safety, because if it was really it was super dangerous, I feel like she wouldn't have let them be there. But it was sketchy. I mean, if you talk to my kids, I mean, there's a podcast with my kids, and they talk about it.
Okay.
You know, their experience in that house. And their other parents would drop their kids off there, and now I think about it, I'm like, if I brought my kid to a house like that, I'd be like, my kids aren't staying there. There was always freaks hanging out, bands, porn stars, whoever I was shooting was always around the house, and the kids, and things happening, and people lighting shit on fire, blowing things up, or running dirt bikes down the alley, and all kinds of stuff. It was nonstop. And the kids they just adapted, and, you know,
it was a different lifestyle.
Yeah.
That is, but when you spoke on the retrospective, because if we had to bring back the analogy of the turtles, you just said earlier, hold on, let me bring it up. It'll make sense, Sean. I'm not going crazy here. It'll make sense. You just said earlier, we get the turtles and we let them grow, and then we throw it in the lake. But in the same way, when you just mentioned earlier, when you look back on things in the retrospective, you just mentioned that you would have changed it differently. And so when you think about the turtles, when you take great care of them, what is the one thing that you learned from that process that you wish you had that when you had your parents? You did everything to provide for your kids, but what is the one thing that you never got that you did for your kids from your parents? If that makes sense.
Oh, yeah. So I think as a parent, most parents, I think, always want better for their kids than they had as growing up, right?
Yes.
My mom's amazing. She lives in Shalimar. She's an incredible lady. You know, is a great mom. Amazing mom. My dad was not a great dad. Alcoholic, abusive. Later in life, we were better off. But like growing up, there wasn't stability. So. When I went into the house, I would have to judge this scene really quick. Is my dad drinking? Is he not drinking? What does he look like? Is he gonna come at me for something? Do I need to leave? Is everything cool? Like, as a little kid, you're like having to assess everything all the time. So, it wasn't amazing. And I don't think my dad didn't want to be around us. He didn't want to do stuff with the kids. My mom did. My mom was always involved with every single thing we ever did, but my dad, he didn't really care to be around us or do activities with us or go on road trips or do anything. So me as a dad, like, my kids, we'd been going on road trips since they were born. Every summer, we spend all summer together driving around the country, or we're very involved. No matter what was going on in my life, I think we always, and even right now, it's every day. It's like calling my kids, supporting their whatever they're going to be in. I think they would agree with this. If they'll listen to this, I think they would say, they wouldn't go, fuck you. You don't do that. Like if they call and they need some shit, then I help them with some shit. If I need them, they come, they're there for me. Like when I've been through some tragedies, my kids they circle the wagons, they come and they care about me. And I'm always there for them. I think they feel, I'm guessing that they would say, yeah, my parents, my mom and dad are always there for us. They love us, and no matter what's going on, they're always there. And I couldn't say that about so you break the chains, and then as in terms of addiction, not to keep going back to that, but if I wouldn't have stopped, and recovered from my alcohol and drugs, I could have just been, carried on and past that, and who knows what would be going on. That's been, almost 14 years for me, sobriety, which is a long time. So my kids are 20, in their early 20s, 23, 24. So I've got 14 years. So they're little kids when I got sober, so they don't really remember. And even before I got sober, I was mostly sober because I was in and out of the program trying to get sober. So I first went into rehab 2008, and they were really little kids then. So I don't think they remember a lot of, I wasn't drunk.
Do you feel like you're grateful for that? The fact that they were that little when you were at that phase?
I think so. I think so. I mean, it was kind of traumatic, I was a mess for a hot minute, what I mean? Made some bad decisions, wasn't great to their mom, and was selfish for a minute, and it took, and luckily, for whatever reason, I saw that, and I felt like I was losing everybody and everything was going away, and I needed to do something to change it. And I didn't want to be, I don't want my kids the kids are a big part, you know what I mean?
You don't want to lose them.
No. So now, and the other thing that to parents that I believe this, and my dad didn't support my nickname for him when there's many.
Okay.
But one was Marshmallow Boy, because he always thought I was eating shit. I was going to be fat. So I started working out, and I got into shape. And so I never wanted to be fat. And he would call me Turtle Boy, because I always messing with turtles. So that was my thing. But he didn't really support, and I wanted to be a pro surfer. That was kind of a goal when I was a little kid, teenager. But he didn't support any of it. He thought he was a lieutenant colonel in the Air Force, a fighter pilot.
Military, yeah.
So he was like, you gotta fucking go to college. You have to wear a suit. You can't dress like that. You have to grow up. You have to do all these things to be an adult and to be successful. And I wasn't great in school, I struggled. I'm very smart, but I have some learning disabilities that prevented me from having an easy time in school. That mixed with a bad time in the home life was a bad combination for me, so I acted out. I think this is me just analyzing.
Yeah.
And so getting into, kind of jumping around a lot, but getting into photography was an accident.
Yeah.
That wasn't supposed to happen. That wasn't in the cards, and I just got lucky because I took a class, because I was in my
Bob
parents
Eddington.
said,
Shout out to you.
Bob Eddington. And so my parents didn't, my dad didn't really support me in those endeavors, and so I was kind of, just thought, I'll just be. I didn't, I think a lot of young people can relate to this. It's kind of like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what I'm passionate about. I don't know for me, it's like, I love animals. Okay.
Yeah.
There wasn't photography in those early days because, back in 1987, I didn't know about photography here in Fort Walton Beach. There was no outlets for that shit. Nobody did it. It wasn't a thing. There's nothing here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's a thing for people in Los Angeles. I didn't even know that was a thing. So
even harder when you didn't have the access to internet and you just
there's
have
no access,
libraries.
man. You don't know how to do it. You don't have any clue.
Yeah.
So I just thought, maybe I'll do like hotel management, or I had no idea, man. Honestly,
Wow.
like I had no clue, and so my brother went to UCF, and I moved to Hawaii out of high school with my friend Danny Rhymes, my best friend, and to surf. And then we came back here to Fort Walton for a hot minute. I was just messing around, doing drugs and carrying on and being a dipshit. And then my mom sent my brother to UCF, and they said, you can go with him, and we'll pay for you guys to live there and give you a car. My mom had an old car she gave me.
Yeah.
But you have to go to like community college or something, do something.
Yeah.
And so that's when I took one semester at Valencia, and near Valencia Community College. And I was trying to take the easiest shit they had. So I was like, I'll take like fucking poetry and creative writing, because I like writing too. I was an artist already, sculpting. I love all that shit.
Yes.
And I took photography. And the teacher, and that's when I was doing all these different art mediums, and I was pretty good at painting and sculpture and all this shit, but I'm very impatient, so it just fucking took too long, you know what I mean? I was like, God, fuck this painting, and get frustrated.
You wanted to get to see the results.
I just want to be like,
you want it right there.
Let's go. I got an idea.
Yes.
Like, let's fucking do this, and like, so then I'd be like, okay, I'm making a sculpture, and I'd be up for days, like, just manic trying to get the shit done. And then I get so frustrated, I'd smash it.
Yeah.
So I took this class, and this teacher, the first day, he's like, had this a negative. He was giving us like showing us around the darkroom and just the basics. You know what I mean? Well, here's photography, and here's what you do. You take a fucking picture, and the dude seemed old as shit, like, to me. And he's younger than me now. He was probably like 52.
Okay.
But in my mind, being 19, he seemed old as shit. You know what I mean? Because when you're 19 or 30 years
everybody's
old, everybody's fucking old.
Yeah.
And he was kind of crippled and shit. Like, he's short and like kind of stepped funny and was weird.
Yeah.
He worked for Life magazine a lot and was like a war photographer.
Yeah.
And so he spent a lot of time in the wars and doing kind of that really cool, like, documentary war shit, and he was pretty badass. But anyway, he took us in the dark room, and he had the whole class, and we're sitting in this dark room, and the red lights were on. I was like, oh, this is fucking...
And it just clicked.
This is pretty sweet. And he showed us the negative, because it's the negative, and you're going to put it in larger, and then he pushed a button, and it, like, the light came on this piece of paper. I'm like, okay, tracking that. And then he took the paper out, and he put the paper in the developer tray, and he agitated the tray, and this fucking image popped up. I was like, what the fuck?
And it was an instant result.
And that's when I hadn't even taken a picture yet. And I was like, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. That right there is what I'm going to do. And I said, but Mr. Edgington, I like to do all these different things, and at that time, I liked these photographers that were doing this kind of Annie Leibovitz and some other people that were doing some weird shit with film, mixed media kind of stuff. And he goes, dude, listen. He goes, anything you can dream up, anything in your mind, you can do it with a piece of film, anything.
Yes.
And I was like, well, how do you do? And he showed me some tricks, and I was like, fuck, this is amazing. So I would just started, like, my first picture I ever did was like, holds up today. I was like, and my kid's mom was my girlfriend at the time then. and she was my muse. Like she was in all of my photos. So I would come home from work that night from like waiting tables, and I would drive down the street, and it would be maybe misty and very fucking ominous, and I get inspired, and I go, okay. So I'd grab Spanish moss.
Was this the black you were? Is this given the black assignment that you had to find from your teacher? He gave you the black assignment?
We would have some assignments, so I would just bring shit home and create these sets in our bedroom.
Yeah.
Like make forests and put Vaseline around the lens, and then do these crazy development treatments on the film, all this shit, and then create these pieces of art. I have the portfolio in there of that class still today, and it's like it's amazing. And I still look back and I'm like, God, it's still fucking. I still love those photos. Like, if I were to do that today, the same photo, I would be happy with it.
Wow.
And that was like my first thing, because I don't know, it's just it's cool. So anyway, then he said to move. He told me to move, and then that's the rest is history. He's like, dude, you got to get the fuck out of here. Like I tell you, I tell you kids, I keep saying, get the fuck out of here, man. You're too good for this area. I tell that to any young person here.
Yeah.
I don't know the answers. I don't pretend to know. There's no path. There's no rule book to say do this and do that and you're going to have a job.
Yeah.
But I have history of 30 years and I'm kind of a dipshit, but I work really hard and I'm creative, so I did it, and this is what I did, so that worked. But I knew it ain't going to happen being in Fort Walton Beach. So he told, even Orlando, he's like, you got to get the fuck out of here, dude. Like, and I wasn't even done with the class. I'm like right now? I was like, well, do you want me to finish this class? He's like, get the fuck out. He goes, go to New York or go to Boston. And then that story's kind of long of how I got to Boston, but I ended up in Boston and at the New England School of Photography. And the rest is history. And then this whole cool chain of events happened. Call them luck or destiny or what a higher power, just weird shit happened to bring me to where you are today. To kind of happen, make my career happen, and it's just kind of put me in these different cities at the right time with the right people, with my girlfriend, who was also like a big part in helping me, a huge part. Like I wouldn't have my career without her, because when I was in school, she worked, helped support us as a couple, and support my career, my choice to do photography, and she was my model for everything. And I'd come home like, okay, we're gonna paint your whole fucking body white with this shit, and then I'm gonna do this, and sometimes tears would be coming down her eyes.
Stop it, Chuck!
While I'm shooting her, but she's doing it anyway. She knows it's important for me to do this for my school or whatever. And still, so many of the best photos I've ever taken are of Laura. And so, anyway, she is a huge part of
everything that you've.
And as a matter of fact, I did my will. I've already told her this, but I asked her if it's okay. Well, I did my will in case I die, because I do crazy shit all the time.
No, don't do that, please.
I don't want to die.
Okay.
But I did a will, and so if I die, Laura, my kid's mom, she's getting all the negatives of all my life. So
wow.
Because she knows what to do with the shit.
Okay. All right, guys. As you can see, this is a hell of an episode. Really packed.
So when I die,
just a fresco is helping out. Okay. Holy shit. I don't even know where to start. There were so many. Okay. We're going to start one by one. So the one thing that I noticed is when you saw the negative and you went through all this effort to control all this, the way you want to create the art, it sounds like despite having the lack of control in everything that happened to you, having the ability to create something comes with a control for yourself as an artist. How did that feel for you to finally have that sense of control, at least some kind of, in a way that made you feel happy with creating a space in your life where no matter what happened, at least you're proud of something, regardless of all the shitty things that have happened.
Yeah, it's great. I think the photography for me, it's such an amazing. It's so many. Hi.
Hello.
Doesn't she look pretty?
Yes, that's Jess walking right there.
Jessica, world famous violinist.
I'll get you on the podcast. But anyway,
she should play violin in the background when I'm talking.
She
She can play sad music. Woo-doo.
Wait, no. Just like, cue music. Go.
Yeah.
But anyways.
I think it being an instantaneous. It did a couple of things that I didn't know it was doing. One thing was you could have these ideas, like maybe it's an emotion or feeling, or something, and I could capture it, create something around that emotion, capture it, run into my bathroom, develop the film. That's how I used to do it.
I'm listening.
You would turn off the lights and seal it off, so you had a dark room to put your film in a canister.
Yes.
So I could develop the film and then make a print within like an hour. So I could capture this moment, run in and create, and then have a finished thing, and it's kind of like this release. Like, okay, I had this idea, I created this whole thing, and then I have this when I'm done, and I can move on. It's like, but it's almost like a fucking diary or something, or like you know what I mean? So it does a lot more for me than, I think everyone does photography for a different reason. It does it, that's what's so great about photography for me, is that some people, they do it as a job, and they're not maybe creative, but it's a great job for them, and they're technical. They're not really thinking beyond that. Some people do it because they're artists, and they use it for that. Some people, there's so many different reasons. For me, it's everything for me. When I'm inspired, you don't really see me without my camera ever, because it's like
it's your muse.
I have to have
yes.
it, and
it's part of your identity that you can't let go.
I met my first wife, Laura, my kid's mom. We went to school together. I know her since 7th grade. That's how I met her.
Oh, wow.
But my second wife, I met her on a photo shoot and doing her album cover. And then Jessica, I met her on a photo shoot doing the album cover. So like, I can say, and now my life is the best it's ever been. You have to get through. I guess that's a cool thing about if you can get old. Like, I'm not that old yet, but I'm old enough to like have the history to know that like shit's gonna suck sometimes. It's not the end of the world. There's that phrase, "This too shall pass." It always fucking passes. You have this whole like, it's like this, man, and to bring me to now, where I'm like calm. I'm confident in me. I love myself. I used to always hate myself and feel insignificant and like I was never good enough. But it's not that way anymore. Finally, after 55 years, it's like, it took that long. You know what I mean?
When you were in okay, so you talked about that journey, and what I love about you said it's like a diary to yourself, and it's a process. But that can be same to set for 12 steps. That I don't know if that's the right number.
Yeah.
When you were in that program, was there someone
Still
that
in
you
the program?
met?
We have a meeting tonight here in this house.
Every Thursday, guys. And he's doing a great thing. It's such a great thing that you're doing. And since we're on that topic, when you were in the program, at the time where everything you did not have some sort of control the same way you did with photography, especially in developing films, was there a person that you came across that suddenly made you realize that you can't do that anymore? And also, you saw the possibility, just a sliver of possibility, if you just kept going. Was there one person where that was the last day of your program that you told yourself, I got to change. That has to be it. Was there a person that you met?
There was a few people, but there was a person where it like clicked. Like I had been trying for a long. There's the only thing worse than not being sober is getting a little bit sober and then relapsing over and over again for a decade, which is what I did.
Yeah.
Terrible. And it's just like this feeling of like, I'm never gonna get this, and I'm gonna be miserable for the rest of my fucking life. Like, this worst thing ever is like, I can see people happy in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous. I see them. Some of the people are super happy. I see famous people that talk about it and they have this great fucking life. I know it it can be done, but it isn't happening for me. I'm fucking miserable. And every time I would relapse, it would just get worse than the time before. I was just creating more damage, killing myself. And, it's terrible. And so the short of the long is, I went to multiple rehabs, multiple sober living houses, and it was like at a sober living house in Chatsworth it looked straight criminals. Just like it looked like it's some weird Mexican deserty house with like crackheads, and there was a horse in the backyard and pit bulls, and it was just dudes with like dickies, and they were just out of prison, and guys with swastikas on their chests and all the shit, like you'd be terrified. And then me, and I lived in the garage. This guy came to me. I was at let me back up. Yes. I was in an AA meeting at a sober living house I was in, and there was this Irish guy, and we were in the meeting, and after the meeting he's like, "Hey man, have you done the steps?" And I was like, "No, I haven't done the steps." And he's like, "Do you have a sponsor?" I was like, "No." And he goes, "Okay, well, I'm going to be your sponsor, and we're going to go out and start reading the doctor's opinion, which is the beginning of the big book, right now." And I was like, "Okay." And we went outside, and he fucking read this to me, and that was the first time in 10 years that I heard something that like resonated with me, which was, hundreds of people have recovered, which I never heard that you could actually get better from being. I thought you were always going to be fucked up and being in recovery instead of, and I was like, wow, that's interesting. And then it said stuff about like, if 100% like you have the possibility was almost 100% if you did these steps and you stuck to them and you kept doing them. I was like, oh fuck, that sounds awesome. And then he said, why don't you he goes, I'm starting a sober living house in Chatsworth. There's nobody in it yet. I've just rented this house. You can be one of the first guys in the house. You come live there with me. We'll do the steps. It'll take like fucking a month, and then you can be back out living your life. And if it doesn't work, then you can just go back to doing meth and doing whatever you're doing. I was like, that sounds cool. Like if it doesn't work, then I'll just be, that'll be it. And I will have tried all the things, and I'll just come to grips with I'm going to be a meth addict. And
how did it feel to have someone that would actually step up for you? Because you said earlier your dad was a difficult father.
Yeah.
He tried his best, but the fact you mentioned is that he was never there for you. But then the way you the way you were there for your kids, how did that moment where someone you never knew, but just so happened to be in the same place that you were at the time where everything could not be any worse?
Yeah.
How did that make you feel when someone just took an effort to take a chance on you?
Cool. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. But that's AA, right? It's like people. That's how we. I didn't know that at the time, but it's like that's how I am. That's how we all are. If you're I feel like everyone I know that's an alcoholic, they're the nicest people in the world because we live this life of like giving back, and we try. You try, right? It's not a perfect science, but like that's the goal. And so he gave me. But I also think, he was starting this house, and he was like kind of looking for people to get in the house, and he liked me, and he's like, oh man, come. And I lived in this garage with like all these criminals. Yeah. It was beautiful, man. It was beautiful. All these dudes coming out of prison, they would send them there. He would bring in homeless dudes. It was like fucking the dregs of society. And we had these huge meetings where there'd be like standing room only in these living rooms with all these people you would never hang out with. And my kids would be there too. Oh, wow. They were little. They would come and hang out with me in this house. And in retrospect, I was like, probably not the best idea, but they did it. And so my kids have been around all these kind of walks of life. Wow. Drug addicts and homeless people and all these people I would bring in, or the sober living houses, famous people sometimes, all the different styles of people. And I think that helped round them out as human beings. And I think my kids are super compassionate towards other people and all types of people. They're not so judgmental. They can hang in any kind of scenario and be comfortable. I think that was the silver lining of the lifestyle that they had with me. because it was bad, but that's the good thing that came out of it. I think that helped, and then they got to see what I did with my shit and like how fucked up my life was at that time. I think that they took a little bit from that too. Like, fuck, man, I'm not messing with meth, or I don't even think they really drink any of them. They,
Okay.
you know, it'd be rare if they have a drink or something. you
Yeah.
know. They smoke weed, so they
Even vape.
they do like the chill stuff, and
Okay.
so I was worried about that with them. You know, are they going to be because
Yeah.
it's genetic sometimes, and you know, it's passed down. So
Hi guys, Kino here. Just wanted to take a second to say thank you so much to each and every single one of you that has been with me on this journey for Hidden Record and just sharing all the stories of all of the creatives that have appeared on the show. If you enjoy deep conversations like this, make sure to hit like and subscribe on YouTube. And if you're listening on a podcast platform like Spotify, make sure you follow that so you won't be out of the loop for every month because I try to drop at least 2 episodes. So grab your popcorn and soda and let's get back to our conversation. How did you define you mentioned earlier that you had a introspective look on yourself where at the time you felt insecure and insignificant. You even mentioned in in the articles where you felt, or podcasts, that you had everything but you didn't feel happy. And so with this in mind and then putting your kids in an environment like that, how did you define or continue to define the definition of love towards yourself, towards your kids throughout that entire thing? Because the definition of love as a creative is always evolving, but sometimes if we don't have a great sense of control the same way you did when you developed film, we often lose what love is supposed to look like. People would start redefining it by getting validation from others when it should not be that way. People would do things for the sake of external factors. It should have been inward. So how did you redefine that for you as you watch your kids grow up and as you look back on things now? How did you redefine that definition for yourself as a father and as a creative, and also going forward into the future?
that's a good question, a tough question. I think. I think, you know, the self-love, it's a work in progress, you know. I think it's only within the last couple of years that I can say, oh, I love myself. I'm cool. It's only a couple of years now where I feel like I can have happiness for other people and not make any, you know. I think it's been a while since I stopped making it all about me without knowing it. It's like, you know, as a creative and being in a competitive field for so long, where it's like everyone's your competition. I think it's, you know, that was always tough for me because it's always a battle, right? And it's very hard to like be friends with people that are creatives and just be happy for them and help them. And we all, you know what I mean? Without having to like feel like they're going to take something from me or whatever. There was a little weirdness. So I always kind of felt like I wasn't very good. Like no matter what I did, you know, in my career, sometimes I felt like it was good, but I always felt like I wasn't as good as like that guy or that girl. And I don't know. It's hard to describe. I think people can relate to that. I think. I don't think that's uncommon. But now I honestly feel now that I'm comfortable. I think the main thing that I feel now that I didn't feel for 55 years is, and I can honestly say this was in the last 2 years.
Okay.
Where I feel like I don't really care what other people think about me. I think I felt that for a while because I'm myself. But sometimes I would be myself and then leave a situation or leave a group of people and go, man, I bet they hate me. I probably was too loud or too whatever, or too whatever the thing was, and maybe I cussed too much, or maybe they think I'm a loser or whatever that's what I thought in my head.
Okay.
And now I feel comfortable. Like I am who I am. I know I'm a nice person. I try to be a good dad. I'm not perfect at all. I constantly have to make amends to people if I do something wrong, or I'm married again, and since I met Jessica, the thing that I started in the beginning of this relationship is like, this is the first woman that's never seen me drunk or high, so that's one thing. And the second thing is having open communication, and there's a bunch of stuff I changed. She will never know those things that I do differently with her, and it's a lot of work, but I feel comfortable, and I'm not trying to be someone that I'm not.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm rambling a little bit, but that's a fucking hard question, man. It's like, I think we all, it's tough. Like, do you feel comfortable? Do you feel
like within
like
accepting
with
who
yourself? Are you like cool with like? Do you feel like
now you're this is your interview?
I mean, do you feel like?
Well,
like
my hearing aids never made me feel comfortable up to this point. It only was, yeah.
But like you're like in your work, like as a creative and one of the most talented people that I know. I was talking about you today. We were in a meeting and I was talking about you. But you're one of my favorite videographers and you're super talented. But I remember there was a time, and I've only known you for a short time, 3 years, but there was a time where you kind of like said, I'm not going to do this anymore, right? And I'm going to do something. Like, I don't get that shit. It's like, I could not do what I do. And I thought, man, this is crazy. Like, that kid's so talented. Like, that's fucking wild. Like, why would he do that? So I don't want to flip the script on you.
Good. This is now, all right, guys. This is now.
This is called
an
the
interview with
bamboozle.
Sean. He's the Hey, he likes to flip.
I mean, as it relates to me, because you're a creative and I'm a creative. It's a rough question, right?
It is. It really is. It's like that was a period of life where even if I explain it, they will never understand the true internal. The reason why it disappeared was like there were a lot of things where it's like, man, I didn't even like what I did. It's a comparison to others, but even I still had trouble with hearing loss because that was one of the. It's not about the appearances, but it was about could I really measure up to the people that I work with, because everybody on set can hear fine. You can talk to the directors, blah, 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 blah. But with hearing loss, it's like, if I don't listen to one thing, it's going to have a ripple effect on the entire production. And that's what I had to live with. And like, if I say, I'm so sorry, director, please repeat that 5 times, they're going to get really pissed off. And so on top of that, there were a lot of internal conflicts that I just threw away what I had, apparently, because it was so hard to, even when you said, yeah, your work is great, sometimes it was like, did I really believe that at that time? And so like what you said, it took so much time to finally get to a place where you accept that. And it's not a question that will be answered at the moment. It's going to be answered when I feel like I've done everything. But at this age, there are obviously still a lot of internal conflicts that I still need to work out, but I would imagine they will require certain events in my life in the future in which will dictate how I will respond to them and how I will take that lesson, whatever that lesson is, away from that and move forward. But I can't answer that question at this moment.
Yeah, and I also think it changes, right? Like,
yes.
It's kind of like being an alcoholic, right? It's like, I can be recovered as long as I'm doing X, Y, and Z, but if I don't do X, Y, and Z, then I become unrecovered. So I can not be doing drugs and alcohol, but I can still be an asshole and still be a drunk, act like a fool, and be an asshole and being, selfish and dishonest and all this bullshit that I used to do when I was doing drugs. But if I do X, Y, and Z, then I don't do those things, and I'm nice and I'm compassionate and I'm honest. So, but if I stop doing those things, I revert back. So I have to keep doing X, Y, and Z to stay in this state of recovery, which I think is similar to which if I do that, then I feel good about myself, and then it has a reflection. It has an effect on my photography business and the way I treat people and the way I feel about my work and the way I feel about my clients and the way I feel about you and the way I can treat you and other people. And it just kind of makes it all work. So like where I'm at right now is I don't want to lose that feeling. Like I love the honesty that I have with my wife, with my friends. I'm never, with everybody, and I love that people can call me if they need something, and I can genuinely be happy for you. It's not a perfect science, like I say, like if I go on a fucking, like we just went on a road trip for 3 weeks. We drove to Canada and did all this cool shit, but like after a couple of weeks, like I started fucking tripping out. Like there was a couple of meltdowns I had that were like, I got grumpy, and then I was like bitchy and shit. I was kind of like old behavior, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like I was kind of, being a little bitchy to my wife and whatever. I was kind of, and I was like, fuck. And I was like, oh, you know what? I haven't been taking care of myself. Like I haven't done any time on myself, like been to a meeting. I haven't been of service. I've been out of my schedule. So it was great. I got to see that and recognize it. I'm super happy to be back. Tonight is my first meeting that we're having here, and we have one every week on Thursday night. But I missed the last 2 weeks. So when I'm gone, I just give the passcode to my door to one of the guys, and they come in the house and run the meeting and lock up and leave. So I'm super happy to be back. But the other question was, what was it about the kids? You said something.
I lost the question. I was so involved in your story, but the self-love. How did your definition of self-love evolve after going through that process, but now with your kids?
The thing I think about with my kids on a daily basis is I try my best not to have any conversation with them that's goes anything like this. You know what I think you should do? Or you know what you should do? Maybe you should go, I try not to, and if they tell me something they're doing or an idea they have, I just try to support it. That's cool, man. Like, do you need any help with that? Whatever. Because I don't want them to feel like whatever the thing is they're doing isn't good enough and I don't support it, even if I think maybe that's a sketchy idea. Because my dad would always tell me, oh man, that's fucking stupid. You should do this. Or why don't you? California sucks. You should fucking leave California. You should live in Arizona, because he lived in Arizona. If he's there, it must be cool. Yeah. No, man. Like, I want to be in California. Like, that was where I needed to be at the time, and it's the place for my work. And I'm very successful. And before he passed away a couple of years ago, he did call me, and we had a really nice conversation, and he told me how proud he was of me. It took a long time for him to see me like evolve, fall, keep getting up, keep doing. And then he saw me running for city council for our town. Yeah. And he saw an interview with me, and he was like, the fuck? Like, my kid is running for city council, and he's like did his life like that, and like people were actually like letting him and supporting this. Like, that's, it made him proud. So he was like, I think in his way, which he didn't say I'm sorry, but he just said he cried and said he's really proud of me. And I can tell that you have to read between the lines with my dad. Yeah. That was a big thing for him to even reach out and acknowledge that, but he watched the whole thing and was super proud of me. So anyway, I learned a lot from him.
I just have to say, thank you for breaking the generational trauma by not doing what your father projected onto you to your kids. That's a big thing. I have to acknowledge that. Continue.
Yeah, but it wasn't always like that, because when they were little, I think I had anger issues. Yes. And so I have there was times when I scream at my kids, yell at them. Maybe I didn't do things the right way. And I can't live in the past. I think, whatever. I'm not that way anymore. I'm not the same person I was. And I try not to live in the past because that's, not a way to be, and I try to be present, but it's very hard for me. I'm always kind of always in the future.
I do know what
Fuck,
you mean.
man. What if this doesn't happen? This
Yes.
doesn't happen. And what if that happens? And
Yeah.
what if fucking that happens? And do my kids hate me because I did that 20 years ago? And all the things, you know what I mean? It's like, but right now my kids texting me about fishing, like, hey man, let's go fishing. And like, that's special for me. That's like gnarly, very important. That's like, my kid wants to go fishing with me. That's so cool,
When your dad was before he passed away, how did it feel for you as a son to have finally to finally get the chance to hear what you never got? How did that affect you in your work? Because sometimes there are moments in our life when, especially moments that have a huge significant impact on what we do. For example, when my grandma passed away, I had a conversation with her and it didn't go. The last conversation I had with her, I regretted it, and ever since then, I've tried to listen to more people, and in a way, I project what I didn't appreciate what I did to my grandma. I try not to do that for people, and that's through listening, asking questions, because I never did that in that conversation. If that makes sense, was there anything similar to you in how you change as a person in your work, especially as a husband and as a father, when you had your dad at some of the last final moments, and especially he told you, hey, I'm proud of you along the lines. How did that impact you?
It was really good.
Okay.
It healed a lot of shit, but still it's like, it kind of bookended, like, it was like it bookended things in a kind of a good way.
Okay.
But then he ended up passing away kind of unexpectedly. My ex-wife left on a Friday, just randomly, just walked out and never came and just left. And then like 2 days later, my dad died. And it was a lot, you know what I mean, at that time. In the weirdest, and I don't know, I hope this doesn't come out wrong, but in a weird fucking way, like my dad dying was like this relief, like, he can't say any fucked up shit to me anymore. That's done. You know what I mean? That's kind of mean. But at the same time, he called me and said he's proud of me. I love my dad. I'm proud of my dad. He was a great man, and he's loved by everybody. Another thing about like, oftentimes like narcissists and alcoholics and shit, like they're really fucking nice to everybody. Everybody loves them, but they're not nice to like the people that are the closest to them, their kids and their wife, their whatever, their family. Everybody fucking thinks they're funny and great and all these things, and then they come home, they dump on the family. And little bits of that I can relate with, to a certain point. So when he passed away, I was like, oh my God, like it almost felt like, okay, that's done. Like I'm like, this shit isn't going to be in my life anymore. Like, which is kind of sad, you know what I mean? Like so it was sad, but it's kind of a bunch of different emotions, Like he can't hurt me anymore or say anything mean. Do I want my kids around him because was kind of mean to them? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to make him to be a monster, but I love him, but I don't know. It's very hard to explain that relationship. So I don't know if that answers your question. Did it fucking help me after I talked to him in my career? No, because he didn't get it. He never would get it. He didn't get what I did. He didn't care. He didn't get it. He thought it was fruity. He didn't understand that world. You know what I mean? He just didn't.
What was the hardest truth about yourself that you never faced or refused to face up until the recent times? Especially just like sometimes, oftentimes, what we know about ourselves when we have certain parts of ourselves that we don't want to acknowledge for the sake of embarrassment or whatever. What was the one thing that you refused to face about yourself? Because you mentioned before, you've gone through so many things, especially you've lost so many people over and over and over and over multiple times, and you worked every year, even getting to a point to accepting that they're never going to come back. Some of them will never come back. And in those times and up to now, what was the truth about yourself that you refused to face, but will come to that point at some point in the future? What is the one truth about yourself that you're still working on to accept? Because you've accepted everything part of who you are, but is there something that you have been keeping?
That's a tough question. I don't even know how to answer that. There's probably, stuff. I feel like have been such a mess.
Yeah.
My whole life, like, there's been so many things that I work on constantly.
Yes.
That, and because of the program and because of my openness about it, because I feel like there's a lot of people that deal with the things I deal with, that aren't vocal about it, right? Like,
yes.
So, like, I might be an alcoholic and a drug addict, and you might never know, because maybe I never told you about it, because I'm going to keep that to myself and keep it kind of behind the doors, but I choose to. I think a long time ago I chose to kind of be open about it in the beginning, because I felt like it gave me accountability. And if I tell you I'm an alcoholic, then maybe I'll be less likely to drink in front of you, because you'll go, wait a minute, motherfucker, you said you're an alcoholic. So maybe I started doing it because of that, but now I think I do it because I think it helped, because you never know who's going to hear it. And then I get many messages over the years, still many messages from people I might know or I don't know, and they're like, hey man, I heard this thing and I'm struggling, and can you help me? Or can you help? What do I do? Can I come to your meeting? Or can you talk to this person or my son or my daughter, whatever the thing is? And that's like, makes me feel good. So when that started happening for me, what's really cool is like, I don't feel like I'm an expert at anything. Like, really, like, I know I'm an expert at photography.
Yes.
I think I am, but I still don't know everything. And I call kids Nathan Sigzinski. I'm asking this motherfucker how to do this with my camera, because I'm like, dude, how do I? He knows more about this shit than I do. You're 24. It's like, so I'm an expert at many things in photography, I think. I've just had a lot of experience, so yes. I've done a lot of things. I think I'm pretty good at it at this point.
Yes, you are, Sean.
Composition and
MurphyPhoto.com.
Okay. But anyway,
really good.
But I can tell someone how to, if they ask me about photography, I can help them with that, or the business of photography, or different aspects. And I think I'm pretty good at how do I get sober. If you really wanted to get sober, like, I can't tell you what to do, but I can tell you what I did. And if you do what I did, your chances are pretty good. And if you want, I'll take you wherever you want to go. I'll come pick your ass up right now. I'll drop fucking everything. If someone called me right now and said, motherfucker, I'm about to use, I'd be like, Kino, peace out, gotta go. So I think it's my primary purpose is to stay sober.
Yes. And
help other alcoholics. If I don't do that, nothing else matters. I'm not a good husband. I can't take a picture because nobody's going to hire me. No, I'm not going to have any friends because no one's going to want to hang out with me. I'm going to fucking lose everything I've worked for in a short amount of time. That's the truth. And my life will be shit. So I have to do that first.
Every time I come here, dude, every freaking time I come here, it's such a, after hearing everything, but this studio, every time I come here, Sean, like, it's such a, at the end of the day, regardless of if I had not known about the story that you went through, I would have thought yeah, this guy got everything. I want to be that. And actually, now that I think about this, what's your reaction to when people, especially younger kids, they tell you, hey, Sean, I want to be like you, not knowing the entire life that you had to live through? How does that make you feel when this is the first thing they see? You got all this and this. I want to have this. I want to have this. I want to be like you. But how do you okay, I know, but I'm just saying. How do you feel about that when they ask you that question, and when you know that the life that you live through is so different to what they are going to live through? How does that make you feel?
Well, it's a different time too, right? Like, I think there's some things that won't change, right? Like work ethic, integrity, creativeness, all those things, the X factor, personality, all the things you need to be successful.
Yeah.
The difference is the time, like, right? Because when I came up, it was the 90s, and it was all analog, no computers in the early 90s, no phones, no technology. So, you know, everything was very tactile and you had, you know, slow.
Yeah.
So it was harder and easier in a certain respect now, but dude, like, so I look at if a 22-year-old comes to me and is like, I want this shit.
Yeah.
And I want to do what you do. In my mind, I'm like, God damn. This is going to be fucking hard. I mean, not to be as good as me, because they can certainly do that. But like to get to a level where you're working and you've done it for 30 years and you're still getting hired and you're making a living at it. Because I was told when I was 35, I shoot for Getty Images for 20 years. And the head lady at Getty Images, Charlie Holland. Hi, Charlie, if you listen to this, which you probably won't. Charlie, she's the fucking guru.
Ooh.
From England. And she's, and I was all stressed out. I said, man, I feel like I'm going to not be relevant anymore soon at 35. And she's like, no. You got fucking 10 years, man. 10 years, complete 10 years. Like, as a photographer, like, the statistic was that she told me, like, in your zone, like, working and making money and doing very well, 10 years. Yes. Then you phase out because a new generation will come in and you become irrelevant because you age out or you stylist, whatever. You have your moment. People hire you, and then you become not as popular anymore. That's a different time. But now it's like I'm 56.
Yeah.
And I've been doing it since I was 20. I mean, I graduated school when I was 23, photography school. So a long time. That's how many years is that? 30 years plus?
Yeah.
It's a long fucking time. So I'm like, God damn, I'm still doing it at a high level. I'm very busy still. So I'm like, what do I do why me? Why am I lucky enough to be working this long and still relevant?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm just because I work fucking hard. And I always say that too. I was like, I will always beat you because you can't fucking outwork me. Motherfuckers are too distracted. You know, the kids, it's unfortunate, I think. I always hate when people say, man, back in my day. Like, it ain't back in your day, motherfucker. It's 2025 now, and shit is way different.
Yes.
But the thing that's never going to change is, like, work ethic. And just fucking, you know, that, like, I see it in a few people. You know what I mean? Like, I was very impressed that you did you did your homework. You did all this shit. Not a lot of people are going to do that amount of effort to do something. If it were me, I would fucking, a lot of times, I'm really busy and I work really fucking hard, but as far as like homework goes, like I'm shooting a band.
Yeah.
And that they might be really famous, but I don't fucking know who they are because it's a different genre that I'm used to listening to. But I'm on my way to the shoot. Fuck. Who is the fuck is this? What is this band? And I'm not going to say any names of bands, but like I'll go, God damn, I'll pull over and just Google them. You know what I mean? Oh,
fuck. Get the information right there.
Okay, Wikipedia, got it. Spotify, listen to the top 2 songs, got it. Now I know now I know the vibe. Now I know how I'm gonna shoot them. But before I listened to 2 songs and watched it at Wikipedia, I had no idea what was happening on this photo shoot. But on my way, I'm like, okay, got it.
You know, what I said, I could never operate like that. I need to know every freaking thing. And dude, you said one of the values, one of the other values that I remember you had to experience when I think you were in London. I don't know. Somebody pulled you on the side when you felt like a hot shit and you felt like you're egotistical.
Yeah.
That story touched me because I remember 18, 19, especially when I released a music video with Skylar, I felt like a hot shit. But then there was like a lot of humble.
Like how many years ago was that?
I think 3 or 5. 3, 4.
Probably 5 years.
Yeah.
Because I was in California.
Yeah.
No, it was longer than that. Because I've been here fucking 5 years, and I remember her mom Facebook messaged me in California to find some kind of van, a car for your shoot.
Yes.
And that was like 7, 8 years ago, bro.
Yeah. Oh,
long time.
That was it?
That was at least 7 years ago. 7 years at least.
Okay, so this thing, when you went through that, they literally said, dude, this attitude's got to stop.
I was out smoking cigarettes in the front of the school, talking to a group of kids and thinking I was hot shit, blabbing about how cool I was probably because I was the valedictorian. Everyone thought I was the shit at the school. Who gives a fuck? So he comes up to me, he goes, Dave Shervish, and he's still my friend today. He was one of the guys at my school. And he's like, motherfucker, just like that. He goes, I don't give a fuck. He goes, no matter how fucking cool you think you are, how good you are now, he goes, if you make it, which you probably will not make it, because the statistic is very bad for us as photographers, like working, like there ain't that many people. Like people in the zone doing all the jobs, there's like a handful.
Yeah.
And millions of photographers, there's like just a handful that are doing all the advertising jobs, doing the music jobs. You know them all because there's probably like 20 or 30. So he goes, if you make it, which you probably won't, it's going to take you 10 fucking years from now just to make all the mistakes. Because even if you're really great, you still got to like learn how to do a job and production and making mistakes and how to deal with clients and all the things. So many things. And I was like, fuck you. I'm already just shooting fucking bands. How hard is it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And motherfucker was, goddamn, it was 8 years. Wait, I was 30 before I got my first paycheck. 31.
Oh, so 31 from 35. Oh, wow.
I mean, I was shooting.
Yeah.
But I wasn't making any money. I was poor as shit, and I was making no money waiting tables in addition to pay for my bills.
So you went through so much. You did a lot of the hustle, but like, how does that feel when you said earlier when you have 20-year-olds asking you, how can I be like you? The biggest thing that I really don't like in this generation is the fact that there's a lot of egocentric personalities, in that they think that's going to get them everything that they want. I hate that.
Yeah, I think there's a whole wave of people that are early 20s, and I look at they've been doing it for a year, and it says director.
Yeah.
I'm going to piss a lot of people off right now, probably, right?
It's okay, guys.
I'm sorry. I'm not, it's not because I'm old either.
Yes.
Like, it's a fact. Like, if you're 22, you're not a fucking director.
It's a title that needs to be earned. That's how I see it.
Yeah, you ain't a fuck, you're not, where'd you learn how to direct? Like, what the fuck is going on? And I think it's just too easy. It's too accessible, so people can get into the field really easily. And there are a lot of talented 22-year-olds, don't get me wrong. A lot of talent. I used to be up against a girl back in the day when I was like 35. Yeah. Her name was Olivia B. I bet she's still working, I'm sure. She's amazing. But she was 16 and beating me out for advertising jobs.
Wow.
She was in high school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and back then that was really unheard of. And she just had this really cool style. And I remember, I'm going to throw John Harrington under the bus a little bit. Sorry, John Harrington.
I love you, John. I'm gonna see him. I'm gonna see him next week. So.
Yeah, we call him my fourth son.
Yes.
I love John
He's
Harrington.
the one that calls him Pop. So if you hear me saying Pop, that's because it's John.
John is my kid. He's like and I'm really hard on John.
Yes.
Because I love him, first of all. I think he's earned everything he's got. He works really hard. And I was speaking at Choctaw. I think, man, he was 18. So he's 26 now. So 8 years ago, I met him at Choctaw. I went and did a speech at Choctaw, and he's like attached onto me like a kid, like a stray cat.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And he's like, but he's fucking smart. Because I was like, why don't these kids none of these kids want to learn some shit? Like, if I saw a photographer from Los Angeles moving to my town and I was interested, I'd be like, fucking dude, I wouldn't leave his side. I'd be like, I'm fucking working with you, bro, for free, whatever you want.
Yeah.
And you're going to teach me your ways, and I'm going to be fucking, you know what I mean? I'm going to go get this shit going. Nobody does that. Mm. And John did it. Like, sometimes they'll do it, they'll last like a couple of days and they'll fuck off because they're like, this isn't.
It's not a serious thing for them.
I thought we were just going to be shooting hot chicks and famous people. A lot of it's bullshit work. But John, he stuck around and I gave him the speech because he was like 19. He's like, I'm going to be the youngest fucking advertising photographer that there is. I was like, oh, here we go. Here's a fucking speech, bro.
I'm so sorry this happened to jump, but I've enjoyed every bit of this.
And first of all, I was like, well, that's already too late because I'm thinking about Olivia and a million other kids that are younger that are already crushing it. I was like, dude, like, it's going to take you the 10-year thing. I gave him the lecture. And now he's 26. He's doing very well.
Yes.
But it's not like he's not at the end of the zone yet. There's still a lot of work to be done. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be like 10 years. You know what I mean? It's like that's a great number. I think and he appreciates that. And he's matured a lot now from like you've matured a lot. When I first met you, like you're wild, dude. Like I was like, fuck, this guy is fucking shot out. You know what I mean? Like if I put you and John in a fucking potatoes, I mean, you guys, I could put you in a sack together and just throw you in the back. I mean, you guys are like a couple of fucking rabid mongooses running around. Like I couldn't be around you guys for more than a minute. It's like, shut the fuck, get out. You know. It was wild, but now you're like a mature man, and John is like an adult now too. So I think if that says anything to like anybody that's getting into any field, whether it's photography or any other field, I think, be kind, be nice to yourself, give yourself time, learn your craft. Don't be too hard on yourself when you don't fucking succeed like instantly, because it takes time. And as I tell John, I was like, dude, I'm in my 50s now. Like the people that are going to hire you they're going to give you big money jobs, they're older people generally. I'm generalizing. Yeah. They're probably in their 40s at least, like that are running a company that have money to spend. Yeah. Even if you're the fucking raddest dude on the planet, like you're still 23, 24, 25, like, am I going to hire a 24-year-old and give him a giant job with a lot of money? It's going to be a tough sell. Yeah. So just be chill. Like use the 20s, like, yeah, you might get some big jobs and you might do really well, but also just like take that time. You're never going to be in your 20s again. It only happens once. Enjoy that shit. Learn in your 20s. Like let it soak it all in. Get some mentors, like learn from people, lay low, kind of under the radar, and then you're fucking,
hit it like a
30.
Like a lightning in the bottle. I have to say, I recently talked to John. Dude, he showed me some of his work, and I have never seen him. Because I remember he was like having a bit of struggle when he moved to ATL. But then just recently he started sending me these photos. I feel like I got my lightning in the bottle. I was like, yeah, I think Sean's right. I think you're still up there in the zone.
Did you listen to the podcast I did with John?
Huh?
Did you just
okay. Here, I'll tell you this. I made a deal with John when I started this. I told him, all right, John, if I can get Sean, can I get you on? He's like, okay,
can you get what?
Go. If I can get you on, then he'll do it. He'll be on the podcast himself.
I would love to hear. I would be really fascinated to hear John, because I think he's old enough now to like he's had some history and he can. I hope. I'd love to hear his perspective on like his timeline and like how things are going, how he feels, and how you guys are probably the same. Like you're the same age, right? 26.
Yes, I think we are.
26 from 18 to 26.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy big difference, right? Like I look at you now, it's completely different. You got a beautiful girlfriend, you're mature, all the things, and it's great.
But Sean, the thing is, I wish what I knew now, I wish I knew back then.
Me too, man. Me too. But you can't, it's like, I think the hardest thing to do is like live in solution, like in now, present, and solution. Like we can't we can't change fucking anything in the past, and we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So, you know what I mean? You can learn from that shit in the past and go, I remember when I did that, and I'm not going to do that again. Even now, as being doing it for over 30 years, I'll make a mistake all the time in photography, all the time. I'm like, fuck, I thought I had fucking done every single thing you can do bad in my craft. And I'm like, I'll never do that again. I'll never do that again. I'll never do that again. It never stops. Always something you can fuck up.
Yeah, I would. And by the time machine, I'm going to take the lesson from Kung Fu Panda, Master Oogway said to Po. Something about the past and the future, but today is called the present, and that is why they call it a gift. Learn from Pixar, I think. DreamWorks. Sean, we'll have you back at the other episode, but seriously, no. When you just said, I'm going to reaffirm you right now. Shut the fuck up, all right? The whole purpose of this episode was to make it different and to have a deeper introspective of who you are. Everyone knows the career.
So hopefully we did that.
Because I don't want you to recall. Don't give me the fucking side eye. I don't want you to get to a point where, at least for me, I don't want you to start recalling the stuff. I want you to be able to remember, at least keep that part of yourself. Okay, so you did fucking great. Drink some Fresco to make you think that you did great. All right, you did. And every story that you share, that is the side of Sean that I've never heard in most podcasts. And that is something that most people will learn from. Okay, we can all learn about. Oh yeah, Sean, what did you do to make yourself so successful? All this and that. There's gonna be so many other photographers out there that are gonna say the exact same thing, but there will never be another photographer, Sean Murphy, with the exact experience that you've had to teach them a different type of perspective. That's not going to happen in a very long time. That's why I appreciate this conversation and the stories you told. Okay?
I'm going to put you in my will.
What?
I'm going to put you in my will.
Please don't give me gay porn.
I'm going to give you that aquarium.
The what?
And that sign right there.
What is it? Oh, I got No, the door.
You want the door and the sign? Yeah, you can have that.
But actually, 2 questions before we go. What are some of the things for creative struggling with? For creative struggling with addiction, ego, or fear or disability, how would you help them see those struggles as a source of strength rather than a barrier?
How do you see it as a strength?
For creatives struggling with challenges like addiction, fear, or disability, how would you help them see those struggles as a source of strength rather than a barrier? For example, I always saw my hearing aids and my hearing loss as a barrier to achieving what I wanted in my career. But because of that, I held myself back because thinking that I'm broken and thinking that I'm more of a liability, that's what held me back. But then it wasn't until I embraced it that I was able to express everything as I am in the work that I do. So how would you say for those that have lived through similar experiences but also different experiences as well?
Yeah, I think it's the same sort of thing, except, I think if you're lucky enough to have it being, I love that I'm an alcoholic. If I could change not being an alcoholic, I wouldn't want it. I want to be an alcoholic because I'm in this cool club that keeps me that teaches me how to be this really good person. and I have all these secret things. Like I feel like I'm in a secret club where I have tools for the solutions to life.
Okay.
And if I wasn't an alcoholic, I would have never found this program that teaches me this way of life, and I would just be living, who knows how it would be.
Yes.
So I think, like you said, like embracing it, if you can find the silver lining, find your way to recovery and figure out, how to overcome your fears and all the things, and use that to help others and further your career and treat people and do all the things. It kind of all just goes hand in hand, right?
Okay.
So I think in the moment, it's very hard to see any way out or any change ever happening, and that's a dark place to be. I remember, I've never really been suicidal, but I did. There was a moment where I was like, I know how someone would want to kill themselves.
Yeah.
Like I could never do it, but I was in a place where it's like, fuck, I know what that shit feels like. Because I don't even know how I'm gonna get out of this hole that I'm in. I don't know how I can get out of bed after you know what I mean? Like it's that fucking bad. But now I'm like, I can't even imagine like that life. It's like another universe away from now,
Yeah.
So I think that there's always hope no matter what is going on. I think there's always answers and solution, and
Even the meanings to why we went through the things that we went through.
yeah, that shit. I mean, it's a stupid thing to say, but it's like, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I mean, that shit's true, right? It's like every bad experience I've had, the overdoses or the car wreck or the divorce or the people not hiring me back or whatever the thing is I did, it's terrible things along the path. Like, I mean, they're fucking bad. But fuck, Robert Downey Jr. goes and lays in a kid's bed, wasted, and fucking,
He went to jail.
People love a comeback story, right?
Right. Yes.
And it's like there's nothing cooler than like being a total disgrace fuck up, and then re-emerging as like using that as like to help others. I mean, it's cool. It's kind of a scam, but it's cool. And like I think, in the beginning, I had lost so many people, I thought they would never come back. And most people, even my kid's mom, like we're friends and really good friends. We were texting today. She was sending me pictures when my kids were small. Anyway, they come back and some don't and most of them do. And it's like, fuck, I don't even deserve this life. Do I? I probably do. I do deserve it. But like, I'm too happy. Like, it's crazy. Like, I got this wonderful woman and this beautiful house and cool friends, and I'm accepted back in this town with a great community. What the fuck more do you want? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, if I want more and I find myself always wanting more, I'm like, calm down, bro. You got enough,
Oh, ouch. I think I lost 2 decibels of my earrings. I'm going to go get my doctor checked out. The last one is, did you ever come across people with hearing loss and disabilities?
Yeah.
And how have they changed your outlook on creatives that are... Because this is why I started in this first place. I have never met anyone, as far as I've known, to be in the seat of a director that would tell everyone. I've seen actors like the Eternals from Marvel, but I've never seen anyone behind the camera with a disability that can actually hold them back. But they've used it as a comeback story, like you said. So how, if you met one, how has that changed your outlook on people that have a lot of conditions that held them back?
Well, there's one photographer that I know named John that's from Milton. Amazing photographer.
Okay.
And I met him. He was 16. I was floating down Blackwater River one day.
Okay.
And I had an underwater camera, and there was these kids jumping off this cliff, this sand cliff.
Yeah.
And I just like took their picture. And they were like, oh, man, can we have the pictures? And I said, yeah, just reach me on Facebook. This was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Before Instagram, I think. And I sent the pictures to them. And the kid, like, reached out to me, and he started kind of hanging out.
Okay.
And he's probably 30 now.
Oh,
I
wow.
mean, this is a long time ago.
Okay.
He's deaf. Like, he's...
Like
he can't,
fully?
pretty close, real close. He can, like, he has to be looking at you and be close, or if his head's
Is it
turned.
born or like caused by?
I think it's born like that,
Okay.
and it's getting worse. But
Yeah,
he is
that
a
happens.
great kid and amazing photographer. But it was getting worse and worse, and like it's really hard to you couldn't talk on the phone with him.
Yeah.
He had to have like a special thing. And then I mean, even me, we talked about like I have tinnitus, which isn't probably it's not even close to like what you have, but like right now all I hear is ringing. You know, so like I have hearing aids. That I just don't wear them because it's hard with my glasses, and it's just hard because it just knock out. They go in, and it goes behind. And I've had them for years, but I don't wear them, and I really have to focus on looking at people.
Okay.
And make sure if someone's over here and they're talking to me, I have to say what you know. Certain voices I can't hear. John Harrington. They have an octave that is hard for me to hear. A higher.
Oh, the higher side.
It's
really?
a little higher because it blends with that
right.
sound of the ringing.
Okay.
It's kind of close to that.
Okay.
And I really can't hear it very well, so I have to really focus.
Yeah.
You know. But that's recent of like for me like maybe like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, something like that. I don't know, but it's tough, man. But I don't think it should ever hold you back. I mean, in LA, there's people with all kind of disabilities, and you just work around it, and people are pretty sensitive to it. And I think like if you were to be on a set and a director wanted to work with you, they would know that in advance, and they would make arrangements for you to be able to fucking hear him, and they would give you headphones or some shit where you could hear. So it's not really an excuse, you know.
They don't have the thing is, I have not seen a conversation where it allows them to have the opportunity to advocate for themselves. I was so embarrassed of this, and I didn't even want anyone to know that I have hearing loss. And I know there are so many other people that are scared to advocate for themselves, especially when it comes to people that they look up to.
Yeah, but how cool is it that you know, like if we didn't know that you had it and you kind of were able to mask it somehow, and we didn't know, and you could still kind of figure out what people were saying, and you kind of just figured it out how to like kind of weasel around without people knowing you were deaf.
Yeah.
Like, who are you gonna help? Like, it's cool. Like, if I'm like a young person and I'm struggling with hearing loss and it's somehow holding me back, and I see you doing all this cool shit, I'm like, fuck, that guy does it. Why can't I do it? I see people that are have huge disabilities, whether it be missing limbs or blindness. I know people that can hardly see that are amazing photographers. They figure it out somehow. They get like some shit and they figure it out. You know, people lose their hands and they still figure out how to do shit. You know, it's like people pro surfers with one arm. Like, what the fuck do you do that? Like, it's like it just tells you like, there's no excuse for anything. Like, you can use all this shit as an excuse, addiction or hearing loss or a missing arm or blindness, whatever the fuck it is, but it's just an excuse. I think it also probably gives you superpowers because
yes, it does.
You know what I mean? Because it's like your senses are just like it goes out different.
Like Daredevil.
Yeah. Because now you're
Devil.
like, I don't need the fucking hearing anymore because I can feel sound.
I can see the colors.
I
feel the
see,
colors.
I can see, yeah, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think you're doing it right. I'm proud of you. You know, I think you're giving back, and it's people will look up to you. And I was always told this too, like, you don't know who, like, I'm always like, who the fuck would look up to me? Like, who would want, you don't know. When you're out in public or when you're on doing this or doing a video shoot or whatever you're doing, you don't ever know who you're going to affect and in what way. So someone may look up to you like, oh, he's Asian. I'm Asian. Like, I can do, you know what I mean? Like, people, it gets like that. You know what I mean? Like, why they don't like Asian people in this field. People, that shit's real. Like, or African American people. I know a lot of that like happens, and you see so many amazing African American people doing great things, and it's like opens the doors for all these other kids who are like little kids that go, I could never do that because it's all white people. And they see these great role models, or, but for you right now, as it sits, I think that people, being deaf as a little kid could be like a hindrance, and people could go, I can't fucking do that, but they can.
I want them to feel that's possible. That's why I keep telling you I wanted to have the kids where they can direct a set. They just talk in sign language. I don't have to be around for that, but I want to make that a possibility for them.
Is there a school here or something? Is there a thing here?
For one, I was told that recently, and I plan on reaching out to them soon.
That would be so cool.
I know, right?
That'd be so cool.
But you cannot, dude. They're not gonna hear you yell at them.
Perfect.
What the fuck are you doing? And you're gonna see them.
I'm gonna learn sign language.
But you can't yell. You cannot yell at them anymore, Sean. Don't do that. Well, they're gonna tell you. I don't know what it is to tell you to get the fuck off my set, but they're gonna do that.
I would love that. That'd be so cool.
You know, right? That vision is so cool. Freaking cool.
Yeah.
But the first thing that needs to happen is to have the conversation rolling and to remove the stigma that we are not broken. You just gotta give us a chance.
I wonder how would you, if you're like completely deaf and you can't hear anything, how would you do like a video where there's sound?
I actually never found a solution for that at all.
Maybe you can give them to me, and I can mentor them as photographers. Because a picture doesn't need the sound.
Okay, all right, you have a good point. But I thought you were asking video, you need sound, but then...
Or maybe there's, I don't know. Maybe they're shooting videos that don't have talking. But I also, dude, did I tell you I was on a shoot in the Keys recently where they had brought in all these writers from around the country. One of the girls was a Scottish lady. And I don't remember where she was from.
Okay.
But I remember them telling me one of the ladies is deaf. I was like, who the fuck is it? Like, I couldn't figure it out. Like, I was trying to be like respectful and make sure I was talking to people and they could understand me. I'm used to being around you, so I'm like, as long as I can, like, I know that if people can hear a little bit, like, just make sure they can see my read lips. And So I'm talking to these people all the fucking day, and I'm like talking to this one lady like all fucking day long, and I'm like about all kind of shit. It was her.
Yeah.
And she was like, and she couldn't hear with her voice that she had didn't have a speech impediment. She talked very clear, and she's like, she said, oh, can you just look here? Because I read lips. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it was crazy. But she was really good at reading lips, and I was like really impressed, man. I was like, that is so cool. I'm not gonna bitch about my tinnitus anymore. No matter something ringing in my ear,
But thank you for sharing that story. See, guys, it's possible. All right. Unfortunately, we're running out of time. We actually ran out of time.
We have to do an A meeting. If we don't finish soon, Kino's going to be stuck in an A meeting learning a little bit more than he needs to tonight.
It's okay. It's okay. There's lessons to be learned, so maybe I'll learn something tonight. Thank you so much for watching, Sean. Any last words? And where can people find you, by the way? What's your social and your website? And where can people find you? You can look at the audience and intimidate them right now. Yes.
My name's Sean Murphy.
Yes.
And I'm on social media. You just Google my name.
All right, Sean, just drop it, bro.
Murphy Photo.
There we go. And your website?
SeanMurphyPhoto.com.
Yes. And where can people find you if they want to work with you?
101 Chicago Avenue Southeast, Fort Walton Beach. Come on over. Call me anytime.
Thank you so much for your information. Now drop your social security number.
4537.
No, don't do that. Don't fucking do that. Stop. Don't do that. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I hope it teaches you about a lot of the things that know that even though your upbringing may have had a rough one, it doesn't mean your chapter is already written. You have the power to pick up the pen, to write the rest of your chapter and determine the ending that you want for everyone to know that you lived a good life. That's the power that you can do right now, even with conditions. That's it for Hit Record. Thank you guys, and we'll see you all in the next one. And that's a cut! And that's a wrap for today's episode on Hit Record. Thank you so much for sticking with us, and I do hope that today's episode was insightful and also it gave you some kind of fresh perspective in your creative journey. If you're listening on Spotify or any other podcast platform, a quick review is definitely going to help. It helps other people find us. And for those that are watching on YouTube, make sure you drop a comment down below or a question, because I would love to see what your thoughts are. If you have any takeaways, advice, insights, anything of the sort, I'd love to see what you guys have. And most importantly, I hope you guys can take away a lot from these conversations, especially if you have hearing loss or disabilities, because I want you to know that you are not limited by your condition and that you are more than just that. Thank you so much for watching. Stay inspired, and I'll see you all in the next episode.